Hi folks, Roage here. Sorry I'm late. Had this all set up, and then all of a sudden, everything decided it wasn't going to work at all. So they are. I've got something tying up all my processor time, so they're really, you know, being fun about all of this stuff. So let's get right to it here. Let me get into where I'm at here. I want to put this up here first. Public notice. Take a good look. It's kind of important on this video. This is a public assembly. The people that are actually posting on the chat, this is lawful. No infringement will be tolerated. Okay, so sorry I'm a little grumpy right now. I'll probably ease into it a little bit in a little while. This video is an introduction to what I call perceptual warfare. All right, if you look at here's the let's see here, not it. Okay, if you look at the picture, you can see here what's going on with this. This is a shopping mall. It's in Hong Kong. It's fairly typical, not just of Hong Kong, but of a lot of places. It's skewed off to the left. I took this picture. It was getting close to Christmas, and you have all these people running around. They're all just doing what it is that they're doing, and it's they have plans. They have all these things, and they seem to think that they're doing all of this on their own. I do want to go to the browser, and then okay, let's see, image 2 scene. Okay, let's go to the scene here. I want to go to the browser, and I want to play a short little video for you, and hopefully you guys can see and hear it. Okay, now this came out, this was Maverick. Hopefully I'm not making him too famous, but I originally saw this from Lionel Nation, and his question was, what is this? So I'm going to play this if I can here. I guess I can't because yeah, I'm just having way too much trouble here. Well, technically, what this video is, and I don't understand why it's not playing now. I mean, it's just it's just mind-bogglingly annoying. Yeah, none of it's playing. Okay, so don't know why it's decided not to work. Let's see if we can get another browser up and see if we can get that thing to work. I had this. I don't know if it's something about tying up particular hardware in here, and that it can only do one thing at one time. But we'll see if we can actually get this to play. I tested this to make sure that it would work properly. Um, there we go. I'm going to expand it, and I'm going to play the audio. Some of you have heard this already.
Years old. When I was 19 years old, I was at a concert. I was at a concert of a very famous pop star. Of a very famous pop star. Who told the crowd. Who told the crowd. To get closer to her. To get closer to her. This resulted in a stampede. This resulted in a stampede. People were smashed against each other. People were smashed against each other. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't breathe. I thought I was gonna die. I thought I was gonna die. From behind me. From behind me. I felt a hand up my skirt. I felt a hand up my skirt. And I was punched repeatedly. And I was punched repeatedly. In the vagina. In the vagina. I couldn't turn around. I couldn't turn around. I looked to the stage. I looked.
All right, you guys get the idea. Okay, I'm not gonna play any more of this. I'm not gonna play any more of this. That's enough. So Lionel asked what that is. Okay. Now, we just went through the Judge Kavanaugh confirmation to be a new Supreme Court justice, and there's a lot of people out there right now who are really happy about that. I am too. I think it's a great step. There's a lot of people that are actually pretty happy, and they actually think that they've won the war. That somehow that's going to make everything better, and that's going to solve all of the problems. Folks, this war is only starting. Okay, what you're seeing here is a weapon. Those people are a weapon. Okay, they don't even know they're a weapon. Okay, now, what am I talking about when I say perceptual warfare? Okay, perceptual warfare is this. I'm going to say a word, and you're immediately going to have a reaction. I'm going to say mind control. But technically, there is no such thing as mind control. Okay? And even those people who are good at quote unquote mind control will tell you that it's really not mind control that they're doing. What they're doing is perception control. If you can control perception, then that will impact behavior. And if you can control behavior, then where the body goes, the mind goes. And this is what these people are doing. Okay? So I'm going to go back to OBS, give you a little bit of infinity here for a second, and there I am. Okay. Perception control. How it works is this. If I can control what you think you're seeing, or if I can coax you into believing that what you're seeing is the way I see it, then I can introduce some base assumptions into your thought processes. At which point, then, wow, once that gets in there, then you can apply any amount of logic to it you want, and you're going to arrive exactly where I want you to be. That is, if I do that. Okay, now, I tend to do the opposite. Okay, I don't like to build robots. Okay, because technically that's what it is. It's robotics. Okay, now, folks, you need to realize something about where you're at. You need to realize who you are. Okay, because I reside in this flesh suit right now, and it's different, but pretty similar to the same flesh suit that you're wearing. Okay, there are some intrinsic aspects with respect to the hardware. Okay, and its particular nature that I don't think most of us really appreciate, and of course, people don't teach us this at all. So this is a problem. Okay, if you don't know how this machine works, then you're at the mercy of others who do know how this machine works. Okay, for instance, most people aren't aware that if you hear the same thing over and over and over again, it's just like creating a habit. If you do the same thing over and over and over again for 21 days, after that it becomes a habit. If something drones on you every day, and you hear it over and over and over again, and you don't have a sufficient level of awareness, after the 21st day, then you will start believing it is true. Okay, this is something that's known. Okay, those that study behavior, those who study this machine, they know these principles. Now, there's a great article out there. I'm going to switch back to the browser. Let's see here. And there's an article. Now, these links are in the description of the video. Okay, and this article is called "Mind Control for the 21st Century." Okay, and this is I read this article a long time ago, and for me it has always been a very helpful tool. Okay, so this is that article. Okay, and the link is there. Now, they basically tell you in here that they're really not talking about mind control per se. They're talking about behavioral control. Now, unfortunately, you have to read this thing, and it's pretty long. But once you start into this, they show you all kinds of tricks. They show you these tricks from the perspective of a scientist that actually studied who we are and the way that we do things. Okay, and the way this body works. Okay, it's technically a robot. Okay, and this robot can be programmed. There's an interface for programming the robot. Okay, it's called hypnosis. Okay, and we always have this idea that hypnosis is some guy, with a pendulum or a watch, waving it back and forth, saying, "Hey, you're getting sleepy. You're getting sleepy." No, that's one method, but some people can be hypnotized very quickly and very easily. Okay, and the gatekeeper that keeps that from happening is trust, right? Basically, trust. If a person who does not trust the hypnotist can't be hypnotized by that hypnotist. Okay, so how is that trust important? If you trust an authority over you, and another aspect of this robot that we live in is that we blindly, for some reason, tend to seek out authority and then just trust it automatically. Maybe they're wearing a uniform. Maybe 50 or 60 other people say, "Oh, you got to listen to this guy. He's great, man. He speaks the truth." Right? And because you don't want to be embarrassed, in front of 50 people, then all of a sudden you start listening to this guy. And the second you start trusting what that man says, that's when when you become hypnotized by what it is that he's saying. That includes me. So the last thing I want you to do is actually trust what I'm saying. You need to be skeptical, and you need to seek these things out for yourself. I'd be the last one. I'm the last one out there who want to make a robot, folks. Okay? We got enough of robots out there. You're starting to see these robots. Okay? We've got a world and a number of people out there who are playing with robots. Okay? So this this is hypnosis. And the conditioning that we don't even see happening. A lot of it comes through TV. A lot of it comes through literature, through the media. Yes, even the media you think are really telling you the truth. Okay, those you've got to be careful. Okay, this is about making armies of robots and fighting, using your robots to fight against other people's robots. Okay, if you don't see this happening, you're starting to see this. You're seeing the level of mindlessness going on the streets, where these people do not realize that they're completely programmed to do that. They have lost all capacity around, of rationalization. No capacity to discern what it is they're doing is right or wrong. That isn't even a factor. They just simply do that. Why? Because they get a pat on the back from their authority. And for $15 an hour, you'll go out there and totally undermine every aspect of your own rights protection. It's happening right now. Or you're going to be in government and you're going to completely bold-face lie to everybody out there and not even feel guilty about it. You think Chuck Schumer has a problem with what he's saying? You think that there's any moral inhibition? He knows how the game is played. No, Chuck Schumer it creates a lot of robots. He's really good at it. Okay, so if this is just a world where everybody is a robot, how does that stop? Okay, well, it's easy. It's easy to stop it. Okay, you can undo any MK Ultra programming because you understand these are behavioral layers laid on top of something else. Okay, what is something else? Well, something else is who you truly are. Who are you? Hmm? Who are you? You're not this flesh suit. You're not the thoughts in this flesh suit's head. Yeah, it's just basically a computer. Okay, you're something much more. Yeah, you're in this flesh robot, but that's not you. If you actually think that's you, then you can be easily programmed. You do the stupidest things. Oh, you'll be on YouTube probably, doing those stupid things and probably not even be paid for it. Not even compensated in any meaningful way. All right? So, through hypnosis, okay, anytime you trust something blindly, you can be hypnotized. Okay? So, how do you keep that from happening? It's real easy. One, you realize who you are. Now, that's not easy. It takes an amount of courage. Um, I tend to help people go through that discovery process. I know how to do that. It takes a little time and a little bit of courage, and when you're ready, then you can do that, but only when you're ready. Okay. There's a video. I linked the video on here. This video looks like this. Let's see here. Get back here. Um, oh well. It's suffice to say, I did link the video. If you need help, hey, find me. That's the best way that this stuff works. One-on-one, you talk to me or you talk to somebody else that knows my material, and we can help you. Okay, but it suffice to say, anytime you take something as an authority, you can be hypnotized by it. Okay, anytime you're afraid of something, you can be hypnotized by it. Anytime you think you're moving towards something that you truly want, you can be hypnotized by it. Okay? If you have your trust in yourself, truly, in the real true self, not the egoic projection, not the flesh suit, not your thoughts, feelings, okay? But intuitively search within you, actually find out who you are, then you can break any of that superfluous conditioning on the outside. In 1999, I actually realized that I was confused. And I realized that I didn't understand enough about my life experience. At which point it would be 7 years. 7 years on July 4th at 4:44 a.m., 2006. That's when I took over my robot. Now, if you don't control your robot, then somebody else controls your robot. You're just a bystander. Oh, yeah. All the while somebody is controlling your robot, you think that you're actually in control of what's happening, but it's subconscious. It's subconscious conditioning. Subconscious meaning it is not conscious to you. Oh, yeah, other people can see it. And I'm sure you guys are watching all the videos of these people that are actually just mindless drones. Who is sitting here telling people to repeat everything that they say? And who are the people that are repeating everything they say? All you're seeing is robots here. You're seeing a robot programming a robot. That person that is telling these people to say these things isn't in any more control than the people repeating that stuff. It's like folks like George Soros, right? He doesn't have any more control over what he's doing. He's programmed too. Now, who's doing these programmings? Who's doing all that? Well, you won't know them. They'd be standing right in front of your face. You wouldn't even know it. Why? Because you're looking for something. You're looking for something specific. Oh, of course, they're very powerful. They have to have, massive houses. Lots of cars and stuff. Oh yeah, they're really powerful. Those aren't the powerful people. Those are the examples. Those are the people that are used to entice you into behaviors, right? Perhaps the gangsta lifestyle, right? You need to be a gangsta. Yeah. Yeah, look, you're going to have all of that stuff, right? So you start gravitating towards it, and then what happens? Well, You end up in jail. Part of the prison business, and you are effectively a slave. And there's a lot of them in this country. Half the robots are inside the prison system, um, as trapped as the people on the outside. Okay, so this robotic flesh suit that you're in. Okay, now what happens? How easy is it to program you? Well, it starts when you're really young. You can bet that your school system, your local public school system, is completely part of this. In fact, they're so part of it, they don't even know they're part of it. Okay? We've been infiltrated by leftist communists. This country became a communist country in 1913. Every nationalistic group out there has been thoroughly infiltrated by leftists. And they are just simply mindless robots that are trying to make everybody else mindless robots. It's like Borg. I mean, it's like the Borg. I mean, it's really scary. If you don't realize that these people are actually programmed robots, then you're going to be reacting to them. At which point, when you react to those robots in that way, then you yourself become a robot. Okay. Now, there's a lot of people out there that are happy about what President Trump is doing. I'm actually kind of happy about that too. But President Trump has to realize that this problem is a heck of a lot bigger than just simply naming a new Supreme Court justice or changing the courts. Okay, you have people in government right now that are just as robotic as the people on the streets right now tearing everything up. Okay, this has never been about evil people at the top. Okay, this is about confused people at the bottom, not realizing that they're being manipulated, or just simply allowing themselves to be eliminated. And let's look at some of the ways that we're being manipulated. Okay, inevitably somebody will post a comment right on some of my videos, and they use the C word to describe it. Right? Could either be conspiracy theory. Now, when I say conspiracy theory, you immediately start discounting everything you hear. It's automatic. And not only that, but it's retroactive too. When somebody just simply says the word conspiracy theory, you immediately discount everything that you've heard. You're conditioned. Who conditioned you? The CIA in 1973. Oh, look at all of the movies, how you were slowly conditioned into believing that. Oh yeah, it's a conspiracy theory. Okay, that's not the only word. The other word is just cult. Cult, not a cult. I don't want any followers. I want non-robotic people who are awake, aware, know who they are, and are in control of their own robot. Because if you don't control your own robot, somebody else does. Okay? So you look at the Democrats who were opposed to the Kavanaugh confirmation. They voted lockstep. There was no free. They were just in opposition. Why? Because they were programmed to do that. Oh, they'll swear up and down that they weren't programmed, just like somebody who's going through post-hypnotic suggestion, who's had something put into their head, and they do these things over and over again. They'll swear up and down that it's their idea, because they can't see when that post-hypnotic suggestion was introduced into their programming. Okay, you've got to be careful with your programming, folks, because if you're not careful with your programming, you lose control very quickly. And once you lose control, it is first thing they do is hide you from yourself. Yeah. Fortunately, your churches aren't helping you out very much either. Why? Are you kidding? They love robots. All those robots that ended up throwing stuff into the collection plates 3 or 4 times on Sunday. Okay, are you kidding? That's a revenue stream. They're not going to mess that up. You think that these people are actually going to give you clues to self-empowerment, self-control, right? Competence, and the capacity to exercise your rights, right? Do you think those robots out there care whether or not your rights are protected? Hmm? No, they don't. Why? Because they don't even care if their rights are protected. Obviously, because they've given them all away. If they realized what they've done to themselves, they would stop immediately, but they won't. At some point, when these guys get tired of the robots, they'll just march them into the sea. It's like the movie Push. There's some great scenes in there where Push is the idea of people being able to put ideas into their heads such that you can totally control them, And the one of the main characters in there, have these people with guns trying to shoot her, and she just, it was able to control their minds, change their minds to where they would just march themselves off of a building and kill themselves. Convenient. It's not very hard here either. It doesn't take very much at all. These people will set up a scenario that enrages you, at which point then when you act out your rage, they have you. Okay, if I start, and I'm, pardon the language, but if I start talking shit about your family, your country, your president, you're immediately going to want to beat my butt. Oh, you'll chase me down. Yeah, you'll chase me right into the trap I've set for you. I'll just push your buttons and you'll just run over there and do it. Right? Be careful. That's all. Anger like that is a lack of control. I'm not saying outrage. When you see something that's outrageous, okay, and you get mad because what you see is wrong, that's one thing. But you're acting on rage, and I mean acting on rage. Oh, you can be angry, but be mindful of what it is that you do, and sometimes what it is that you say. And folks, it's okay to call a traitor, or somebody engaging in sedition seditious, or a criminal. First thing a criminal will do is try to play on your sympathy. Oh, how mean. It's just like this Dr. Blasey Ford that was quote unquote testifying, if you could call it that. She was very nearly, almost perhaps raped in her mind. How dare you talk bad about her? Not a shred of evidence, no corroborating witnesses. And still, these people say, how can you say that? Well, I can say that. She's a liar. She perjured herself. I know she perjured herself. Why? Look at the facts, folks. She didn't describe a sexual assault. She described an assault, but not a sexual assault. Right? And when she described it, she could produce no evidence. Does that mean that the evil Republicans were out there hiding the evidence? No. The FBI couldn't find anything. Are you kidding? The FBI is watching everything we're doing. They know everything. And if the FBI says, hey, really, and you know darn well that there's a lot of folks in the FBI that would like nothing more to actually find concrete evidence, right, to stop to have stopped the Kavanaugh confirmation. Oh, you know darn well if that evidence exists, it'd be there. But it wasn't there. They couldn't even reasonably invent it. Oh, and they tried. All right. So this lady came in who's associated with, let's just say, some people that are already pretty tainted, right? The Fusion GPS folks. Yeah, she's all over that, And that's why when she walked in and talked to the prosecutor, that nice lady, the prosecutor already had the goods on her and set her up. She asked the questions. She lied. She perjured herself. At which point, the calls for another FBI investigation were meaningless. Well, why is that? Well, if you've lied, why? Because she coached an FBI agent to take a polygraph to get into the FBI. You don't think the FBI had access to the lady that she coached? Hmm? Because they probably talked to her first. Said, oh, you know this lady, and did she coach you to take a lie detector test to get this job? She did. Okay, so that was one of the questions that this nice lady who was cross-examining her asked her, and then she said never. She's never helped anybody pass a lie detector test. It's a lie. Now, what does that do? Well, if you're going to convict somebody of a crime, it has to be beyond a reasonable doubt. If you're not a credible witness, meaning that you can't help but perjure yourself, and and people know that you've actually lied, that's sufficient doubt. And tie goes to the runner in this case, whereas anybody being accused of this sexual crime can just go to the jury and just say, hey, look, this is not a credible witness. She claims I did this. However, she lied. And that should raise sufficient doubt for you to not find me guilty. Because anytime I have a witness who's lying, that in me creates a doubt. And that's a reasonable doubt, because we're not supposed to believe people who are liars. Known liars? Yeah, oh, are you kidding? Don't be a fool. Don't listen to a known liar. They certainly don't belong in a courtroom. They certainly don't belong testifying in front of Congress, postponing a confirmation of a strict constitutionalist. Why? Well, a strict constitutionalist, it's been they've been few and far between in the court. Okay? And quite frankly, I don't think we're quite ready for a lawful government. Lawful government and a population of robots, total non-starter here, folks. Doesn't work at all. Why? Because robots don't need lawful constitutional government, because they have already waived all of their rights. Now, if you believe in luck, chance, and accident, then you have a lot of fear in your life experience. You're afraid that something might hurt your robot. There could be a monster around the corner. Bad things could happen to you. But if you believe in determinism, then you know that everything happens for a reason. Is this happening for a reason? Oh, yeah. We're not to be robots. This is how we get taught not to be robots. We'll completely destroy this country to learn that lesson. I'm hoping, and there's that useless words, I would like that not to have to happen. But if it does have to happen so we learn that lesson, then it is necessary. If you want to stop it, then that's fine. I teach people fundamental law. When I studied for 7 years, right, 1999, I realized that, hey, wait a minute, something's wrong here. I'm not really in control of myself. What's happening? I started studying the law. When I figured out what controls the law, the being that controls the law, then I found myself. It's a potent being. It's in you. You got to release it. You got to know it's there. You got to know it's not this flesh suit, this ridiculous flesh suit. No, you're not fat. No, you're not stupid. No, you're not criminal. No, you're not wrong. Oh, your robot could be wrong, but you are not. What you're doing is necessary. You're valuable. You're important. You're learning a lesson right now. That lesson's, it hurts. If it didn't hurt, it wouldn't be worth learning. So we got a lot of patriots out there that think, hey, now that we've got Justice Kavanaugh on there, they're saying, oh, we'll be able to overturn Roe v. Wade. Really? No, you actually need a court case. You actually need a challenge that actually overturns Roe v. Wade. right? You got to be that guy, right? And it's got to be a case that the Supreme Court's willing to take. If your case doesn't raise a question that the Supreme Court hasn't already ruled on and decided that it doesn't want to revisit, then they'll just not take the case. All right, so don't get all excited about this. Okay, if Judge Kavanaugh is anything, he's a strict constitutionalist. Okay, now there may be a few things that have escaped his attention, but I don't know. In me watching John Roberts and watching the Supreme Court, they do not let you guys into the jokes and the tricks that are being used to trick you. Why? Because they know the law. An important aspect of the law is this, right? Ignorance of the law is no excuse. If you don't know you've been tricked, that's not their problem, and it's not their responsibility to show you. It's your problem. Yours. You have a responsibility. And if you're ignorant of the law, you don't know the law, then whether Donald Trump and the QAnons and all of the people, all the white hats out there, or any guys in the military, bless your hearts. I know you have the best intention, and President Trump and or Putin or Xi Jinping or Maduro. All these people may want lawful government. They may want to hand it over to the people, but they can't. A lawless population can't maintain a lawful government, right? Don't get confused. Legal and lawful are not the same thing. They're not synonymous. It's a parlor trick. It's a deception. It's a misdirection. You don't believe me? Look up the theory of legal positivism and tell me why that's wrong. If you believe that lie, guess what? You get a legal system. But if you don't even know it exists, guess what? You get a legal system. But if you do, you can hide right in front of people. They don't even know you're there. Right? Jim Jones, right, complained that the CIA was manipulating him. Everybody laughed. She had a representative went down there and was shot to death at the airport. What do we know? It's just a bad thing. Oh, it was those crazy church people, that cult. They didn't do it. The people that were manipulating, that quote unquote church, they're the ones that killed the senator. Why? Because they didn't want it. They didn't want anybody to find out that they were manipulating these people like that. Okay. And then when they've got all the information they needed, and they had these, mind monsters, literally, confused people to the point where they were dangerous. They had to get rid of them, so they did. That's where that term drinking the Kool-Aid comes from. They convinced them, hey, it's a good idea to drink the Kool-Aid. When I said, hey, when they get tired of the robots, they'll march them into the sea. Yeah, they will. And those robots will be happy to do it. They'll be on board. They'll think it's a great plan, and they'll just jump right in like lemmings. Nothing can stop them. In fact, they will demand the right to march themselves into the sea. And if you try to stop them, then you're denying them that right. How dare you stop a man who is free from marching into the sea? Oh, it's a matter of pride. It's how we show our support for our country and our people. How dare you tell me that I cannot march myself into the sea? That's how they work it. Don't mean to make you uncomfortable, folks. There's an easy solution to this. There's a lot of confusion out there. There is a lot of programming. You look at those kids sitting there mindlessly repeating everything being said to them. Okay? Right? Totally have no control over their behavior. They're totally robotically programmed. And when they've outlasted their usefulness, bless their heart, I shudder to think what these creeps are going to do with them, right? I want a world where people actually know who they are. They realize that they're in a robot, and they're in control of their own robot. They don't try to control other robots, and they don't allow their robot to be controlled by others. That's perception control. So I want to talk about TPW, right? Transdimensional polymorphic warfare. What happens when you figure out who you are? What happens when you start seeing why things are happening? What happens when you realize how much power is being expressed and how much safety there is in just simply getting out of the street, getting out from under the bus, and standing on the sidewalk? What happens? You have a lot more what you call security. Why? Because you're not standing out in the street in front of the bus. Okay? Now, how does TPW work? TPW is this: I know me, so I know you. Do I care about what robot you're wearing? No, I don't. I don't care. It's superfluous. If I know you, then I can introduce into your programming things that'll allow you to take control back over your robot. At which point, it's yours. Now, do I have to be afraid of other people who are in complete control of their robot? No. Why? I have nothing to fear from them because they realize they have nothing to fear from me. Now, am I worried about other people who are programmed robots? Oh, absolutely not. Why? They don't run things here. Not even their masters run things. You know, folks like George Soros doesn't realize that he's a puppet also. He's programmed too. You think he could break out of his programming? Do you actually think he has the presence of mind to realize what it is that he's actually doing and how dangerous it is to him himself? No, he doesn't. If he did, he wouldn't do what he was doing. He'd be on my side, and I wouldn't be having to fight Twitter, YouTube, Google, Facebook, right? For a grainy little video that you almost can't listen to or watch, right? On a platform that's so antiquated. You know, gosh, I mean, can you imagine if I had, a production, a little mini production studio where I had a staff who were actually helping me produce content and video? Golly, are you kidding? I could be Alex Jones. You got to realize, folks, if you got people out there that are really, got a wide audience, you got to realize, okay, why are they permitted to speak, whereas I go and I am not permitted to speak? Well, I'll tell you the reason why. Because they're making robots. Everything's okay as long as they're making robots. But if you're freeing robots like me, deprogramming people, snapping them out of their hypnosis, are you kidding? They don't want to hear from us. And you don't know how hidden I am from you. Okay? I'm sorry about the video quality. It's getting dark outside. I don't have any additional lighting in here that I can use that doesn't make me look like I'm, a liver patient or something. Yeah, you're just gonna have to live with it. But that's what I'm doing. It's just sort of like underground video anyway. It's just like smoke-filled rooms. Sort of conspiratorial. Cultish. The last thing I want is somebody who's doing something that is based on anything else that's not their own idea. Truly not their own idea, or thought in their own minds. Or intuition out of their own minds, more importantly. Last thing I want is a robot. Robots aren't useful to me. I need somebody who is responsible, competent, and can exercise rights. And has the power through the use of those rights. Right? Because if you do not have power and you are incompetent, then you have no chance of protecting my rights. So from that pure act of selfishness, that desire to have my rights protected, this is why I want your rights protected. Because I'm the one that protects your rights. You're the one that protects my rights. And together, both of our rights are protected. Right? And I do want to talk about something uh, that's really confusing. I'm not talking about freedom or liberty here, folks. Okay? Freedom's a dangerous thing because there'd only be one man on this planet that was truly free. Everybody would be second fiddle. There'd be only one man on this planet that could do everything he wanted to. Everybody else would have to yield to him. It's not what I'm searching for. I'm not talking about liberty either. Liberty is being granted action under the authority of somebody else. I'm not searching for that either. What I'm looking for is equity. What is equity? I'll treat you as I wish to be treated. You treat me as you wish to be treated. Together, we'll figure out what works for both of us. If it doesn't work for me, I tell you, you change your behavior. If you don't, and it rises to the point where I have to take an action, then I will. And I will prevail if I'm right. And you will prevail if you're right. And we don't need to fight about it. We can just simply talk about it. We don't have to burn our cities, folks. We don't have to shoot people. We just have to be responsible. And we do have to learn the law. And I do help people do that. Relearn what this is. Right? You got Ray Kurzweil wants to install himself inside a toaster, right? To live forever. Doesn't realize that he's already been installed inside a toaster. The universe is a toaster. It's where consciousness is installed. And it's a big consciousness, of which we are all part of that consciousness. That one singular consciousness. And we are installed in a toaster. We've already hit the singularity. We already are eternal. From a pure, basic, inherent nature that we are. Eternal, timeless, schlumming it in these suits, thinking that we're separate from one another. It's a great game. It's a great show. Okay? So the idea now is, how do you wake the robots up? How do you snap them out of it? Okay? Now, I put some links down in the description. Watch them. If you hit my YouTube channel, I got all kinds of information on there. The odd thing is, hey, they're all terrible production quality. The sound in them are all terrible. They're all like grainy, like underground videos like this one. This is getting pretty bad, actually. But each one of them has little tidbits of information that'll just jar you into thinking in different directions. And then these aren't radical. They're different. But they're really not radical. And you'll be able to do that with a degree of safety. So yeah, and quite frankly, I'm not a mean man. I don't want to hang all the traitors because, quite frankly, I don't think they really actually betrayed anybody. Unfortunately, they haven't. Everybody thinks they have, and of course, I speak to people where they are. They see these horrible crimes. Who are these alleged pedophiles all over the place? They had to get their kids from somewhere. Okay, yeah, they're pedophiles, but how do they get kids? Who let that happen? So, well, hey folks, I'm going to wrap this video up. I think it's gone on long enough. I'm going to go out to the Discord server, the Sequitur server. If you don't know how to find it, you might ping me. It's not like I'm invisible out there. I've got Facebook. You can ping me on Twitter. If you go to my Facebook page, you can actually find my phone number in there. I'm not hiding. Okay, I'm right here. I've always been right here. And if you have any trouble, hey, find somebody that knows me, or just do a search on Roage. You'll be able to find videos. And you should be able to find me. The server that I'm on Discord is called Sequitur, Sequitur. Sequitur. Okay. Now, if you notice, there wasn't a single ad in this video. Why? Because I've never been monetized, and the reason why is I've never monetized my videos, right? I'm not going to charge you for something that you should already know. However, I do this at great sacrifice, however. Okay? If I actually had a nice camera, if I had a production studio, if I had lighting that would actually work, if I had some help, then the quality of my videos would be much better. I wouldn't have to be this sort of weird, twisted, gray glob on the screen, and this sort of almost disembodied voice, I'd actually be, actually normal. One of the biggest problems that I have is speaking into a camera isn't very easy for me. It's not that I can't do it. The best way for discourse is when I have somebody to speak with, that I can actually engage with, that I actually ask questions. An actual relationship. Me speaking into a video camera is not a relationship. Although it might be happening right this moment and it's potent right now, once it becomes reported, it becomes past and it loses a lot of its power. But if I have something immediate, something that's right there, right now, and people can actually engage that, or if I got you face to face, we'll have a wonderful time. Honestly. I like people. And I don't want anybody marching themselves into the sea. I don't want anybody out there shooting one another. Because none of it's needed. Absolutely not. However, if you think that everything's going to work out if you simply relinquish all of the control of your robotic presence to somebody else, then I think you're in for a big surprise. And I'll be the last one to create an army of robots mindlessly trying to take over a population of other robots. Not interested at all. Okay? I want, like I've always wanted, is I want the protection of rights of every man, woman, and child on this planet. It's not a lot to ask, is it, folks? It's not. Shouldn't be. But man, the Revolutionary War, folks, we didn't win it. How effective that was, right? They convinced us that we did. No. All the while, they never stopped fighting. But we thought we'd won, so we're parading in the streets while all the time our opponents were out still fighting the war. Yes, we beat Nazism and we beat communism, right? The wall came down. No. Right? These people are not stupid. These people are smart. If they can convince you that you've won the war, you'll stop fighting. And then they'll have you exactly where they want you. I'd like to leave you with really just one more really uncomfortable thought, and that is, what if the Trump presidency and everything's going on with QAnon? You got to think of that from a practical standpoint. Think about your behavior and its effect. What if their hearts aren't in the right place? Would we not be cheering for this coming martial law? No, I think robots out there that are programmed, and I think they need to be managed. And I think, quite frankly, martial law is the correct way to do that. But what happens when you give over that power and all of a sudden the people that you thought were your friends suddenly are not? It's a very dangerous situation. I just want to make sure you folks realize that I can tell you and I can behave in a certain way my entire life, and at any time I could just turn on a dime and be something else. All right? That's the nature of misdirection. Do not trust what you see. Right? Trust in yourself. Right? In yourself, your true self, not the flesh suit. You know, if you need to be taught how to do that, I will teach you how to do that. No problem. I can. Right? If you're too afraid to listen to me, or you're not listening to me right now, that's okay. That's okay. You know, I don't have anything to worry about you know, I don't care if this whole population on the planet Earth is all a robot. Doesn't matter to me. You can be a robot all you want, right? I go and I do what it is that I do. I don't worry about robots, and I don't have to. I don't have to worry about them. Um, I don't have robots marching across my property. You know why? Because hey, I'll actually show you a little picture. Take a look at this. All right, you would walk by this property right here, and you wouldn't even give it a second look. Who is that guy? Nobody would know that. Hey, wait a minute. Here is a incredible threat to the New World Order. Why? Because he can take all their weapons away from them. Oh my gosh, let's go in and get him. Are you kidding? These people drive right by. They don't know who's in this house. They don't care. Doesn't look very special. Not from that perspective. You look at it from the other direction, it looks completely different, but nobody gets to that point. You'd look at me on the street, you wouldn't know. You would have no idea what it is, who I am, and what I do. So I did use some video. I did use some content that I did borrow from some other people. There was no copyright infringement intended, and as far as I'm concerned, it is fair use. And I have a right to use it. So, I do thank you for you allowing me to use that. It is for educational purposes. I want President Trump to succeed. I would like to have my right to a lawful constitutional government supported by him, the military, and everybody who participates in the government on the federal and the state and local level. That's what I want. My right to a lawful constitutional government. Enforced. Exercised and enforced. That's all. Very simple. I want rights protection for every man, woman, and child on this planet. I don't care what country you're in. As a base starting platform, level, ground floor. Every country on this planet, I don't care what you do, but you protect the rights of every man, woman, and child to the best of your abilities. It's easy. Concept's easy. However, we've been at war to get to that point for a long time. Now, the Founding Fathers knew what it was they wanted to get to. But, we lost that war. How do I know? It's real easy. Okay? The Republic opened for business with two glaring violations of the Constitution. One, Congress was not in control of the issuance of money. Game over. Two, there were agents of a foreign power that held title of nobility in positions of power all throughout the national and the state governments. That's a direct conflict of interest prohibited by the Constitution. And when the Republic opened for business, these two glaring violations occurred. It took 20 years, and they were able to beat us again in the War of 1812. Where what did they do? The bank charter was reestablished, and therefore the Congress still didn't gain control, even though they wanted to. They wanted to regain control of the issuance of money, and they wanted to kick the enemies out of government. That was the first 13th Amendment. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you should look that up. The first one, and I believe it was 1811 when that one went through. Everybody just seemed to forget that was actually ratified law. That's not the behavior of somebody who won the war, folks. That's the behavior of somebody who lost the war. And if the Continental Congress, right, the Republic, The Republic legislator, the Republic government, if it couldn't act according to its own constitution, then it was under the control of something else. Lost the war. See the track? They make us think we won. I say all that's happening right now is we realize it's a fight. Everybody thinks, oh, it's over. No, 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 no. It's just beginning. The true diligence, the true resolve, the true conflict, that's going to unfold right now. That's only happening. We're only beginning to realize the seriousness of the problem. Don't you be patting yourself on the back. Don't get all comfortable, folks, because if you want to win this, it's going to be a fight. And it's not going to be a physical fight. It's not going to be a spiritual fight. Although there are spiritual components to this, it is basically a perceptual fight. A fight over perception. How you think the world is will determine the choices that you make behaviorally. If they can control what choices you make behaviorally, they can put you in a cage anytime they want. And it won't even be their idea. It'll be your idea. Okay? All right, so I'm Roage. And I want to thank all you folks. Let me go out to YouTube and see who might be chatting. Hopefully I haven't been talking for 2 hours. Hey! Pete's there. Looks like Jim's still there. Miss Dragon's there. Aha! Right on. Wow, you got a lot of posting. All right. Well, this is going to go out. Hopefully you'll get some play. I ask you guys, let's share this. Now, this is an introduction. If we need to talk about more of this, then we can. It's not any different than my True Patriot 101 final exam. I believe we may have 3 of the questions actually answered, and I might be, a little bit generous with that. Let's see if we can answer those questions. If we can get those questions answered, then I'll redo that video and I'll actually answer the questions and explain all of it to you. It'll be a great way for you to get a great introduction into some of the more important aspects of the law. Because if you don't understand the law, then you don't understand how you, the being inside of you, actually works. Okay, that's why that is so useful. Okay, so that's why the law is useful. In studying the law, I found myself. So I want to say thanks to all of you folks. I love you out there. Okay, help me out. You help me out. I'll help you out. Share this. Retweet it. Let's begin a constructive dialogue, and let's stop being stupid and just yelling at each other and calling each other names. We all have something that we're guilty of here. Let's get to a point of forgiveness, compassion, and mercy, and actually make something wonderful happen for all of us. Okay? Oh, I'm Roage, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.